to Laying the Groundwork, an introduction to government contracting. This presentation is brought to you by the Washington State Apex Accelerator. This video is intended for small businesses who are curious about selling to local, state, or federal government agencies. This beginner-level overview is an essential first step to understanding how government procurement processes work, as well as how to determine if government contracting is a fit for your company. Apex Accelerators are part of a nationwide program dedicated to providing technical assistance to small businesses who wish to sell to federal, state, or local governments. The services provided by Apex Accelerators include guidance regarding how to market to government buyers, understanding certifications and registrations, finding opportunities to bid, interpreting solicitations and regulations, locating research and development funding, and much more. Apex Accelerators are funded in part through a cooperative agreement with the Department of Defense. The Washington State Apex Accelerator has 8 centers across the state. Registered clients are able to meet individually with advisors as well as specialists. They have access to a client learning portal, and they can take advantage of a reduced fee bid match service. You can learn more about the Washington Apex Accelerator by visiting the website. Today's video will introduce you to the basics of government contracting in broad, non-technical language. It will also give you ideas on how to determine if government contracting is for you, as well as what possible next steps might be and links to local resources. You will be able to access the links referenced in this video by downloading the PDF provided in the description below. Government Contracting Basics. The basics of government contracting start with the 4 R's. Research. Research lays the groundwork for your next steps. Registrations. Government procurement requires multiple registrations on a variety of sites. Respond. No deals are made verbally in government contracting. You will be required to submit some sort of written proposal in order to receive a contract. And finally, receive. When your proposal is selected and you are awarded a contract, you are then officially a vendor to a government agency. Today, we will explore the first R, research, helping you determine if government contracting is for you. Because government procurement operates differently than private procurement, your basic government contracting research plan will consist of exploring 3 questions. Who are you selling to? What are they buying? And how do they buy it? So, who is it that you're selling to? Most people are aware there are many federal agencies, more than 2,000 of them in fact. Those agencies are part of 15 different federal departments, such as the Department of Defense, for example, or the Department of Transportation. Examples of federal entities include Border Patrol, the U.S. Post Office, or federal courthouses. But there are more than just federal agencies. Washington State has 190 different state entities. There are the State Departments of Transportation and Education, for instance, as well as other state entities, such as the Wine Commission or the Office of Tourism. Each department or state entity purchases goods and services differently than the federal agencies. They have different registrations, different procedures, and different policies. But there is more than just federal and state. Washington State has 39 different counties, each of which purchase goods and services. Their procurement procedures are not the same as the federal or state agencies. They have different registrations as well as different policies. Types of agencies or departments you might find on a county level include a Department of Transportation, the Sheriff's Department, or Public Works. But there is more than just federal and state and county. Washington State has 281 different towns, cities, or municipalities, each of which purchase goods and services. Local entities, such as cities and towns, have different registrations, procedures, and policies than the state, feds, or counties. Types of agencies or departments you might find on a local level include law enforcement, fire services, or Parks and Rec. But there is more than just federal, state, and county and local entities. In addition to federal, state, county, and local government agencies, there are also other public agencies who have different registrations, procedures, and policies. For instance, tribal entities, ports, public universities, transit authorities, schools K through 12, and finally, 49 other states. So hopefully you can see why the answer to the first research question is critical. Who is it that you're selling to? Once you've decided who you're selling to, you will explore if they're buying what you're selling. Government entities buy a wide variety of products and services. Some examples include using special funding to procure services that might be needed for a limited time period. For instance, website development, technology expansion projects, or training videos. Government agencies also buy services that are needed on a continuous basis, such as janitorial services, pest control, food services, or printer and copier repair. So what else do they buy? Construction can make up the most of an agency's procurement budget. Construction services such as general contracting or project management, as well as architect and engineering, are very commonly procured. Many times, construction companies who are new to government contracting will start out by subcontracting to a larger firm, as the policies and procedures for construction in any level of government are very strict and take some time to become familiar with. Government agencies also purchase products or supplies such as computer hardware, promotional items, or furniture. Now that you know who you want to sell to and if they're buying what you're selling, the next step is to determine how do they buy it. Unlike purchasing in the private sector, government procurement is very highly regulated. How you will market your services to any government agency will depend greatly on how that agency buys that particular service or product. Today we are exploring the most common procurement methods government entities may use. The most well-known method is via a written solicitation. A solicitation is essentially a call for bids. They are publicly posted and are competitive, meaning there must be at least 2 qualified bids received in order for there to be an award. Note: registering, locating opportunities, and responding to government solicitations is completely free. Contact your Apex Accelerator if you encounter any charges that seem suspicious. Many times, suppliers do not end up selling directly to a government agency. They may sell to a larger contractor who in turn sells to the government agency. This is very common when selling parts or supplies, as government agencies themselves do not manufacture anything. If you are selling to a prime contractor, you will want to keep in mind that a prime contractor is a private entity who will have their own internal bidding processes. If their contract with the government is large enough, they may have requirements in their contract to subcontract with small businesses. Apex Accelerators can help you navigate working with prime contractors. For products or services that are used between many different agencies or are a very large volume, a government entity may decide to create a master contract that includes a pool of suppliers. Known as multiple award contracts, these contracts are usually longer in duration, 3 to 5 years is typical, and suppliers are initially vetted and then placed on a contract. Only those on that contract are able to bid on opportunities that arise for those particular products or services. Common multiple award contracts are the GSA schedule, which is used by many federal agencies, or MATOCs, multiple award task order contracts, which are common in construction procurement. The state of Washington has over 120 statewide contracts that are multiple award. And cities use the terms on-call lists or rosters. Schools very often use cooperative agreements, which are typically regionally based. Regardless of the level of government or the name of the multiple award contract, it is important for you to find out if the agency you're interested in selling to uses a multiple award contract to purchase your services or products. You may wonder how small businesses compete with larger firms. There are many ways government entities encourage small business participation. Today, we will review just a few. The state of Washington is able to purchase up to $40,000 directly with a small business. Buying direct means they do not have to compete those purchases out. Additionally, Washington state-based small businesses and/or vet-owned businesses are eligible for reserved awards on some state solicitations. The federal government also has methods of encouraging small business participation. In general, 23% of all federal purchases are to be awarded to small businesses. They can achieve this in several ways. One way is by awarding most contracts under $250,000 to small businesses. Another is to provide set-aside bidding opportunities for certain groups, such as women-owned firms, service-disabled vets, minority-owned firms, and firms located in rural areas. You can learn more about how federal or state entities support small business participation by visiting the Office of Minority and Women's Business Enterprise for information on state certification programs, as well as the Small Business Administration for how the federal certification programs work. Is government contracting a fit for you? In addition to determining which government agencies you want to sell to, and if they buy what you're selling, and then how they buy it, you will also want to determine if your company is ready to sell to government agencies. Most government procurement is competitive, which means you will be bidding against experienced firms. Does your business have experience? Are you able to convince the government you can do what you say you can do? Locating opportunities to bid and submitting bids is a time-consuming process. This can be overwhelming for startups who need money fast or for sole proprietors who are wearing many hats. Do you have the time to commit to the process? Gaining a contract, performing on the contract, and then getting paid takes time. No government agency will give you money up front. You may be on a 30 to 60-day payment cycle, depending on the contract and the agency involved. Do you have the cash flow for that? Best practices for government contracting success include starting with a solid business plan. In most cases, you will not want government contracting to be your only source of revenue. It should be only a part of a larger sales strategy. Although you are able to bid any time, and it's not a requirement that you have history or experience, you will have difficulty winning bids against more experienced firms when you're brand new. You will want to know how to run a business, how to price your services, and how to hire employees before you commit to a government contract. Remember, once you sign that contract, there is no wiggle room for price adjustments or issues with performance. For service providers, we suggest you have 1 to 2 years experience in the commercial market or private market before entering the government marketplace. And finally, you will gain clarity if you start your journey by doing your research. Who are you selling to? What are they buying? And how do they buy it? One very effective way to determine if government contracting is for you is to download a publicly posted solicitation and read it. You are not required to register until you want to bid. You are under no obligation to submit a bid just because you downloaded a solicitation. Reading a solicitation that is similar in nature to the services or products you provide will help you determine if you can be competitive. You will find opportunities posted on System for Award Management, or SAM.gov if you're interested in federal postings, the Washington State Procurement Portal, which is called WEBS, and the OMWBE website, which offers a comprehensive list of opportunities. We will now explore best next steps and resources. If you are in the conceptual stages of your business, or have less than 1 year in business, or are not financially secure, you may want to meet with a resource partner first to secure more commercial work before entering the government procurement space. Examples of resources available statewide include the Small Business Development Centers, SCORE, the Women's Centers, and Business Impact Washington. These organizations offer no-cost assistance and have locations statewide. They are available to help small business owners in a variety of ways, including setting up the business, to developing business plans, to hiring employees. If you are experienced in your current business and ready to explore government contracting further, you may want to meet with an Apex Accelerator advisor to learn about your opportunities in government contracting. Washington state firms are invited to register with the Washington Apex Accelerator for no-cost assistance in navigating the government marketplace. Apex services include individual advising as well as access to a client learning portal and specialized targeted guidance. You will find a link below to the Washington Apex website as well as a downloadable version of this presentation complete with live links. This has been a presentation by the Washington State Apex Accelerator. You can find other related content on the Apex Accelerator website.